Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio, and welcome to Luthiers Question Time episode 101. It is a cold night in the shed at the end of my garden, but this is going to be fun. It's going to be a good one. Greetings, salutations. How you guys all doing? We've got Carol Wood, Anonymous Botch, Kevin Harvey, Rab Knox, ER Webster, Sporadic Amnesic, Stephen Costa, Darehead Fridge. I've not seen that one before. It says hello. Hello. As well, I mean, there's a bunch of us. Andre, how you doing? No, YouTube, I will not push adverts on these people. David Oddy, how you doing? Says evening peeps. Borgan in Evolution, Matthew Kabat, I'm very well, thank you very much. It has been a good weekend, and quite frankly, well, I'm looking forward to getting back to work, actually, at this point. So, yeah, that too, but what can you do? Alrighty, so this is a live stream. I'm here to answer your questions about guitars, guitar building, and life in general. So yeah, ask questions. If you want to guarantee a response, then the super chat is the way forward. Down at the bottom of the chat window, there's a little dollar icon that says show your support for Crimson Guitars Extras. I personally very much appreciate that, but it also guarantees that I will see your question and we'll then answer it. So there we go. Carol Wood says, well, after 3 weeks of being ill, I'm finally able to catch a live Q&A. I'm hoping that you are fully back to normal, and if not, a swift recovery, Carol. Frugal Fixer Golf and Guitars by Spike. This is the first name change of your channel for a few months, actually. So there we go, getting on with golf side now as well. All fun and games. David Oddy, how you doing, David? David says, did you all watch Ben's acrylic build? I haven't watched the video yet. Tutankhamun, Ben, any snow yet? No, not yet. I haven't watched the edited version of the build yet. There are going to be larger or more in-depth videos of that whole build coming soon, though. So there we go. Daju, or Daju, I don't know. Been watching the channel for a while. I signed up for all the giveaways. Thank you for the content and opportunities. Hey man, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your support. The giveaway side of things is very exciting because it's allowing us to do this museum, which is, I haven't been this excited about guitars for many, many, many moons. Yeah, it's all good. Earl D. Hiya Ben, question, cleaned a smoking guitar on the outside. How can I fresh up the sound hole? It still smells like a British Legion social club from the 80s. Ouch. I mean, that is genuinely a bit of a stump of a question. I'm impressed. Okay. I honestly do not think that you are going to be able to suck the smell out of the wood. I don't think that it would work that way. You can, however, Febreze that shit essentially and cover it over with a different smell. I think that the most likely solution is to give your client some, if it is a client, actually, come to think of it, it sounds like it, some essential oils, and I would go for lemongrass or something like that, and basically a couple of drops of lemongrass inside the guitar. I would do it on a brace rather than on the actual back of the instrument, just in case it does wick through to the other side and cause some finishing issues. But maybe even drop it on inside the end block when you change strings, and over time that will become the default scent of the guitar. But yeah, internally, I don't know. Potentially you could use some sort of a physical, I mean, pouring rice in there to suck up stuff might work. I know that works to dry things out. If you drop your phone in a lake or something, apparently putting it in a bag of rice will help. That might work, but I don't know. Go forth and Google that and see if anybody finds a good answer. Big Cats Guitars or Stereoman, how you doing? It's come through with the first super chat of the evening. Thank you very much. It says, hi Ben, what's your thought on aluminium as a nut material? Viable or to be avoided? I have used aluminium as nut material many times. It is a little bit softer than brass. I mean, it's quite a bit softer than brass actually, but perfectly fine as a nut material. It is harder than many of the plastics that mass-produced guitars come with as nut material. There was a sentence in there somewhere, please forgive me. So yes, it is viable. It polishes up really nicely. If you want something that looks like stainless steel but are not insane like me and prepared to carve a stainless steel nut, well, I'm never doing that again, let me just say that, then nicely polished aluminium will do it for you. I have also made aluminium, raw aluminium bridges before. It carves nicely, it cuts well. I do think that over a long period of time, you will end up with excess wear. I wonder if anybody here knows the relative hardness of aluminium versus bone, for example. They've got to be fairly similar, they really do. So yeah, go for it, it should be fine. Dear Head Fridge says they love the watch inspired build, stunning, thank you very much. It is merely the first in a batch. The next one we're going to use the CNC machine and the laser cutter to do what you've seen thus far, and I'm then going to customize bridges, potentially gearing mechanisms for control knobs. I'm going to properly play with this whole thing. So yeah, there we go. Sunbase says, I wonder if those ozone generators would get rid of that smoky smell. They use those to clear odors in cars. If they use them in cars, then I mean, that sounds ideal. Very, very, very cool. Old Man Bill is still upset he didn't win a guitar. Hey, there is always next time. So with the giveaway, obviously the Great Guitar Build-Off Invitational and professional guitars, those that we've had the photos of, have all gone live. There was a little bit of jiggery pokery with Portsleither, Dale and Sam actually working far later than they were supposed to on the weekend to get those things live. But yeah, there's a bunch of those guitars, and well, there's a 1988 Fender Telecaster going up soon, a Joe Bonamassa Les Paul, Epiphone Les Paul, the gold top one, the sort of greeny gold top, that's going on the giveaway site soon, as well as, well, a bunch of other things. But the fun stuff really is the GGBO builds. Those are all up on there. So there we go. Activated charcoal in the sound hole. Close it up for a month or so. It'll help, but not all the way. That's from Dear Head Fridge again. Bicarbonate of soda in a cotton bag from IFAX. All of these actually sound like valid options. You guys, the hive mind, genuinely, you guys are... I've learned more about guitar building through trying to teach you guys than I ever would have learned just on my own. And yeah, having all of this, I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. David Oddy coming with a super chat says, hi Ben, I watched a film of an old beat up guitar and the first 3 or 4 frets were jumbo, getting thinner towards the neck. Cock up or what? Okay. There are many ways that could have gone wrong, and reasons why a luthier could have done that. I suspect that it was a cock-up, yes, obviously. There are 2 other possibilities. One, the guy just couldn't afford the frets, or didn't have the right size frets, and just went with it. There is a potential valid reason. The first 3 or 4 frets were jumbo and it was getting thinner towards the neck. It could have been that the neck itself had far too much relief, and they put jumbo frets in because the jumbo frets had bigger tangs than the other frets. And if you put a larger tanged fret in the neck, specifically at the ends, well, no, it doesn't matter where actually, but if you put a larger tanged fret in, it will push more pressure on the fretboard and it'll start pushing it back. I use the standard fret wire that I would have used in the first place, and I just mushroom out the tang. I hammer it down so the tang sort of flattens out, compresses, and goes wider. And you can get that same result. Although, okay, I need to move the camera. Sorry, Crewe. Yeah, so that is the issue. There we go. Let's get me all centered because, you know, that's only right, isn't it? There we go. Focus. Okay. We shall avoid some headaches, I hope. Well, actually, no, looking at my face is liable to do that as well. So, hey, apologies. Bulgarian Evolution says, throw a few dryer sheets in the body. I don't even know what those things are, but I have a vague memory. That sounds interesting. Stephen Costa left with the build. Okay, cool. Big unit. Hey man, thank you very much. Says Ben, I'm trying to fix a nasty 1/2-inch gouge in the top of an Epiphone Les Paul. I went with dust and superglue to fill the hole, but as I tried to sand everything back to gloss, up to 7,000 wet and dry paper, the area around it looks matte. What do I do? Okay, so the issue you've got is the superglue is actually harder and taking a better finish than the poly that the guitar is finished in. It's not easy, but probably the best way to achieve a homogeneous finish there is to spray 2 or 3 coats of clear lacquer over the whole top and then rub that down and buff it, and then you won't see a variation unless there's a variation in color underneath it. But you're essentially polishing 2 different materials with 2 very different hardnesses. Another way to avoid that is instead of using superglue, or you can fill the hole with the dust and superglue, but then put clear nail varnish the rest of the way and build that up in a few coats. And clear nail varnish has a similar hardness to the polyurethane, so it could work. Phil Quinner says, I won one of the GGBO spot prizes, the Crimson Essential Toolkit. Congratulations. But I haven't received it or any shipping info. That is absolutely, that's a month ago now, not in my purview on a day-to-day basis, but here we go. Let me just take a photograph of that and I will follow up tomorrow. If you wouldn't mind dropping an email through to office@greatguitarbuildoff.com. It's a collaboration between my mother, who runs the office of that, and the Crimson Guitars shop. Now, there is a possibility that they've been waiting for there's something delayed on there. I know we had a particularly busy Black Friday sale that has knocked a few things back, mainly with the metalwork again. But we should have it all in stock and it should have shipped. So yeah, drop us an email, office@greatguitarbuildoff.com, and I will chase up tomorrow and we'll get back to you as soon as. Disco Stew, hello, been a while, it really has. Really impressed with the finish on your GGBO. I'm inspired again. I had a major low these past few months. Love heart guitar emoji. I know the feeling. I absolutely know the feeling. I know the feeling, and I completely understand. Now, I probably shouldn't have chosen this particular finish for this guitar. considering it was clear and the finish was dust, and yeah, that was a bit daft. Not only clear and scratchy, but yeah, I very much enjoy the look of it. So yeah, it's worked out well. It was a last minute thing. The guitar was supposed to be copper colored, and we've got this incredible paint at headquarters that we're using that makes a guitar, it's essentially, I think 90% actual copper powder. But the first test worked fine. The second test did not work, did not cure. So I wasn't going to use that on the watch build, given the fact that I started it so damn late, because, yeah, that's me. But yeah, it's all good. I hope that everything gets better for you, Disco Stew, and yeah, you start. Well, I was going to try and make a pun on your name, Disco Stew, and dancing and music and all that jazz, but I'm not going to. Give me a good pun in the comments, people. Mark Wallen with another super chat. Thanks very much, Mark. Says, hi, Ben. I just got a guitar with a huge relief in the neck. It took a lot of a truss rod adjustment to fix. Will the amount of tension hurt the neck? No. No, it absolutely should not. The truss rod is more likely to break first, unless you've got a particularly old guitar with that has been, which doesn't sound like this is the case, where the glue used was brittle. So older glues, and sometimes, for example, a hide glue or an epoxy, something like that, under that amount of tension you might lose the fretboard, that might crack away. But most modern guitars will use something like Titebond, and that is elastic enough to move. If you've managed to move the wood to straighten things down, you'll be absolutely fine. Genuinely will be no issues. Alrighty, now. Whew. Deerhead Fridge. No, you haven't. I changed my name to my band name. There we go. Okay, so what was your name? What did it used to be? Dusty Dark Horses Inns. It's been a while since I caught one of these. Okay, now I do need to... so, just fair warning, I will not be doing a Sunday live stream on Christmas or on New Year's Day. I plan to be at least partially incapacitated on both of those days, either through food or drink potentially, or better yet, a combination of the two. So yes, there will not be live streams on there. I am doing the... YouTube decided to not allow us to create a Great Guitar Giveaway YouTube account. We made one and they immediately killed it. So I'm going to be doing the Great Guitar Giveaway live streams on Wednesdays from headquarters, and I'm thinking about doing the Luthiers Question Time from work. I do enjoy this a hell of a lot, and in fact, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, this has been the only time I've actually been down in my workshop, short of throwing things in here that needed to be stored for a bit. So I do miss the workshop, but it's also getting cold and dark. Anyway, we'll see. Oh, Big Unit has come in with the super chat. Says, I'm starting to record the electronics video today. I'm going to have it up before Christmas. I'm genuinely looking forward to that. I've now got a lot of videos to look at for the GGBO, the invitations, the professions, and all of that stuff. But yeah, I am seriously looking forward to that. So let me know as soon as it's up, and I will watch and start sharing. So yeah, thanks for that, Big Unit. Now, okay. Oh, Big Unit. So here's a question for you. The acrylic guitar, the watch inspired guitar from yesterday, had 0 shielding. No shielding paint, nothing like that, and twin humbuckers, of course, and no hum whatsoever. I don't know. I like it. Anyway, Ape Song says, Ben, you're perplexing Watch build with an emphasis on plexi. Watch build is great. How will the dark finish wear with time? The dark finish is actually surprisingly strong. There were a few areas where I had to go over it several times because I had glued too thick of a layer of the silicon carbide, and that was a little bit spongy. But I went off camera and rubbed all of that off and then applied thin layers. And actually, when I was applying the second layers, I was actually pushing it in with my hand, pushing it on with my hand, compressing it down. And then it had several coats of actual finish over the top. So it should be absolutely fine. And if not, it's also incredibly easy to repair. Whoever wins the guitar, I will try and remember to send a small tub of the silicon carbide with the guitar. What do 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 do. Okay, now. Queries, questions, comments, criticisms if necessary. Mike Vickery says, "Hi Ben, I love your GGBO build. As I was watching the build, I thought an acrylic neck with truss rod on display would be so cool. Is that even possible?" It is possible. The issue is that the routing... Okay, first of all, yes, I've done that. I built a bass for Goldfrapp's bass player Charlie Jones with an acrylic neck. He likes particularly heavy strings. And my neck just could not deal with it. I did not have stiffening rods. It was just a dual action truss rod, and it was too flexible and wouldn't stay in tune. So yeah, that didn't work. I've got that instrument at headquarters right now. I need to do a video about that actually. However, Fender have done it before. Fender have done many years ago a guitar with a clear neck, and I think they've just made successfully a bass for Charlie Jones, which has got a clear neck, I think. In the end, the guitar that I made, the bass I made for him, had an acrylic headstock and body and a timbered neck. But yeah, it could be fun. It should be fun to do. It should be fun to do. The only other issue is routing the truss rods, etc. It's almost impossible to polish the inside of those things, not without spending huge amounts of time. So yeah, it would never be absolutely clear, but it would be cool. It would be cool. Okay, queries. Daju will gladly help with that fretboard in SC. Okay, I need to try and find out what that is to do with. Have I missed something particular? All right. Okay, George Davis, I'm repairing a bone nut slot with super glue. Will it change the sound? What happened to your lip? I've got some sort of an infection. It is not a fight. I don't know. Although looking at this is far more obvious. I should have zoomed out. Repairing a bone nut slot, use super glue and either bone dust if you've got spare bone to sand down, or bicarbonate of soda. And the trick is to put the super glue in the slot first, then sprinkle the dust on top, and then using the dull edge of a scalpel blade, so the back of the blade, tamp it down very hard. You don't want to have just a spongy mess of dust and glue. You want to really push it in there and compress it down, and then you'll have something that has a similar sort of texture and solidity as the bone, and you should be fine. Tutankhamun, Ben, the watch build, can you sand with it? Lol, actually not. With a couple of coats of lacquer over the top, it's absolutely fine. I think, yeah, luckily. I probably wouldn't play it nude, but that's mainly because it's transparent and nobody needs to see that. Okay. Creeverite, did you actually finish the neck of your GGO build, or was it just a black stain? If not, won't that rub off when you're sweating? No, it was finished. That must not have made... Well, actually, I didn't get very much footage of it. I passed it off to Matt, who was doing some flash coat for our students, and he sprayed it in the booth. And I've got a window next to my workbench where I can watch the guys spraying in there, but completely forgot I was supposed to be looking out for that, and I just caught the very tail end of him actually cleaning the gun after that, so there wasn't footage of it. But no, it's got a coat of the finish, so yeah. Doju, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure. Okay, Douglas Sapoda says, hi all, I just finished watching the GGBO Vertex build. Beautiful, thank you very much. John Downey, hi Ben, I think cowbone is about 4 to 8 times the hardness of aluminium, about 400 to 800 MPa compared to about 110 MPa for aluminium. That is very good to know. So bone is actually harder, significantly harder. Fantastic. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, big unit. Hold on, wait a second. I can't miss anything. Big Cats Guitars, a Storyman says, hi, does Crimson do poly or nitro finishes on new builds? I've seen you offer refinishes, but my base build is gorgeous and deserves that professional glossy finish, and I'm too much of a novice to try it. We do both poly and nitro, and sometimes we do poly nitro. Sorry, no, sometimes we will do a poly base with a nitro coat on top just to speed through the process. Yes, we can 100% give you the glossiest gloss that you could have ever desired. Yeah, drop us an email. Volcanes and hi Ben, I want to gift myself with a violin maker's plane. Which are more useful, flat or rounded sole? Cheers, V. I would say rounded sole for sure. The flat ones are cute and fine, but in general, when you're using a thumb plane, you will be using a little curved sole one like this, and it's not very curved. You can sort of just see it's got a little bit of a curve there, a little bit of a curve that way, and it's for carving and adjusting and you know, finagling a carve rather than making something flat. Generally, if you want to make something flat, you use larger planes. So there you go. Yes, you deserve it. Big unit. In answer to my question about the Vertex watch-inspired build not humming in any way, he says, I guess it's the humbuckers. What trips me out is I never saw a ground wire to the bridge. Haha. Does the acrylic used have any conductive additives? No, you never saw a ground wire to the bridge. What I did, because the whole inside was open, is I actually soldered a ground wire to the underside or the inside of one of the threaded inserts. So instead of putting the wire in and then hammering it in and holding it in place, etc., I just soldered it to where it needed to go. I genuinely really enjoyed the installing those inserts with fire. That was fun. Okay. Sweet Tea with a super chat. Hey, Sweet Tea, man. Says, hello, Ben. 2 new builds started this weekend. You are a sucker for punishment. I know the feeling. Congrats. The Sweet Tea Tornelli collaboration is finally starting. Cool. And the first Sweet Tea original model is underway too. Thank you for leading me here. It's an absolute pleasure. It's a long and interesting road, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Sporadic Amnesic. Is the lack of hum on the watch build due to the acrylic being non-conductive, so no interference can be generated? I've got tickets for the Explorer and the V. Yeah, that Epi Explorer is really gorgeous, and there's a Gibson V. I've got an interesting video coming up soon, actually, just to complete that triumvirate. I've got a limited edition Epiphone Modern, and I've got a Gibson Modern Fake, which is going to be interesting to have a look at. Obviously, with the Gibson, we're going to be inlaying a great big red score mark through the Gibson logo to let people know that it is 100% fake. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting video or two there. Okay. Okay, so to answer your question, no. Essentially, the acrylic is offering, being non-conductive, it's, and wood is non-conductive as well. It's just offering zero resistance to any 60 cycle hum, 50 cycle hum that might be coming through from anywhere else. But I was just surprised at how quiet that was. Given that position on my workbench, I've had louder guitars that have had full shielding. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. Yeah, essentially the 60 cycle hum is in the air and it's just going through, and it hits the wires, and I don't know. Anyway. Whew, sporadic amnesic. Okay, so I've just answered that one. Robert R, there we go. Hey Ben, have you seen this video? The 3D printed fashion of Sophie Wong from Adam Savage's Tested YouTube channel. Doing something like what they showed would look really nice on a guitar like you do. I have not, Robert, but that's actually quite amusing because I was watching one of Adam's videos this morning. Watching. I was doing stuff while listening to one of his videos in the background and just glancing over every now and then, as I'm sure you guys do a lot with my work. I demand your full attention, damn it. Anyway, I will check that out. I will check that out imminently. Thank you very much. Now, okay. Earl is going to try charcoal and the bicarb. In fact, he's going to make his way towards the bicarb in a minute. So how long does the hive mind think I should seal it for? There we go. This is to get rid of the smoky smell from inside of an acoustic guitar. Anthony Cunliffe says 101 streams, viewers all over the globe. I'm curious, what are new terms or phrases we've all learned from Ben and from each other? Anything you use in your daily life now? I am so easily susceptible to stuff that I don't even know anymore. But yeah, that's a very cool question. Okay. Fluid Focus agrees with me with regards to the neck that had the different size frets in it. Says the neck may have had a back bow, and instead of heating the neck, the previous owner chose to use higher frets. Oh no, it's an opposite thing. Sorry. So instead of having too much relief and putting in thicker frets or wider frets to push it back, he didn't want to take all the frets off and level the board because he had a back bow and he wanted to use higher frets to make for a level playing. That's something that did not even consider. Wow. Word mouth, speaking, cabbage. Fubard. Very, very good point. Fluid Focus. Lisa Harshberger says the powder used on the sides probably helped with the hum. I'm not sure, but I really loved the look. Thank you very much. Silicon carbide. I did wonder if that was conductive or not. I'm not close enough to anything to check. Damn it. That's potentially actually a really good thing. Now, none of the wire, no, it was. The jack socket is actually touching all of that. So we might have a limited Faraday cage created by the silicon carbide in the body. Very interesting thought, Lisa. Thank you very much. Ha! Okay. Sporadic amnesic back again. Speaking of, I've been seeing vids about HB's Active Series guitars having really bad pickup hum due to the finish on the bridges not grounding. HB? Help me out here. HB's Active Series guitars. I'm feeling really silly. I don't know who you're talking about. But really bad hum due to the finish on the bridges not grounding. I think that the Luthiers should have realized that in the workshop seriously and scratched through the finish in order to get something that that would ground. But then again, saying that, if the bridge and the saddles have got the same finish and the saddles are touching the strings, then the strings wouldn't be ground into the ground wire in any case. So basically you change bridge because the bridges you've got suck. That's interesting though. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing the Luthiers teardowns and the museum and all that, is to actually start looking at all of this stuff from other people, and also I'm actually going to sign up to some guitar magazines and some forums and things maybe, and you know, find out what's actually happening right now. But yeah, anyway, it's all fun. Anonymous Botch. Ben, on your GGBO, would the veneer joint on the short grain be a weakness as opposed to being on the long grain? I probably shouldn't have put the joint straight where the strap button was. However, I think that the added strength, I think it'd be fine. I do think that it would be fine. The whole instrument ended up being so much stronger and feeling so much stronger than before I put the veneer on. So yeah, I think that it's absolutely fine. Sorry, my phone is beeping at me. I just need to make sure it's not questions. It's my son asking for more time on his thing. So no, go to bed. It's school day. There we go. Barry Christian. Ben, I had an issue with GGG away. Ha! That's the first time I've heard it said that way. With a possible different address details as why I failed to get tickets but took payment. Okay, I hope have sent an email. Hopefully can get my tickets. Okay, Barry Christian. I'm going to assume that's your actual name. It sounds like it. I will look into that tomorrow morning. The system is a pre-built system, so it comes with all sorts of things that we are discovering now and learning on the trot, as it were. So yeah, we'll look into that, and yes, I'm sure there's a way that we can sort that. If it's actually taken the payment and it's not just waiting to refund you, then you need tickets, period. Possible different address details. That is weird and concerning. We'll get back to you. Lisa Harshberger just Googled and yes, silicon carbide is conductive. Well, there we go. That might actually be the answer solved. Thank you very much. My only memory of silicon carbide is watching the movie Big Hero 6 with my kids, and one of the scientisty people made a great big silicon carbide ball and then turned it purple or something. That just keeps on flashing up in my mind. So there we go. The Ginger Drum Tech. Hi Ben, is your workshop heated? I have a gas heater in mine and it's still -2 in there. Tools are toolsicles. I get it. I had to read that 3 times to understand. Okay. Yes, I do have a heater in here. I set it, because I'm not in here very often, I've set it to never let the workshop get below 12 degrees. But with the price of electricity at the moment, I'm actually considering just turning it off unless I'm in here. I think there's no point, really. Colder air doesn't take up moisture in the same way that warm air does, so it's not hurting anything except me. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Ape Song says Driftwood Guitars has said they will abandon their carbon tube idea and start using truss rods. Truss rods have been around for a hell of a long time, and as a result, they just do what they say they do. I am interested in potentially carbon fiber truss rods, so that you've got even more strength but less weight. But I think that you absolutely have to have the adjustability that a truss rod gives you. I'm a huge fan of what driftwood guitars are doing. Hell, that's why I invited them to enter the invitational section of the Great Guitar giveaway. Great Guitar build-off, I messed it up. Oh my goodness. But also, if luthiers didn't play around with radical ideas, then truss rods wouldn't get invented. You know, I'm sure that there are thousands of luthiers out there saying, why the hell has this asshole used silicon carbide as a finish on a guitar? Ugh. I like the look of it. But yes, you've got to experiment, you've got to play around, you've got to try new things, or cool things don't happen. And they tried a new thing, or a new thing to them at least, and they're not happy with the thing, and they're with the results, and as a result, they're also being brave enough to say, well, that didn't work, I'm going to change it. I watched one of their videos today where they're starting to ship their guitars out in soft cases because they're actually better than hard cases in many ways. There we go. Matthew Kabat, good evening. I am very, very well, thank you very much. My toes are getting a little bit chilly, but it's all good. It's all good. Okay. Timmy T, I've often wondered why electric bolt-on necks aren't done with a sort of dovetail joint to the body. It would give a nice solid connection. Any thoughts? It's overkill. There is nothing to be gained by being more solid than a standard glued-in joint or a standard bolt-on neck. They are very strong, very stable. There's no reason to spend the time and the money and effort making it any stronger than it currently is. If you take a standard guitar and smash it on the stage, then it's not the neck joint that goes, it's the body that snaps off, or halfway through the neck will break off. But the joint where the glue is, that's almost always solid. So there we go. Grieverai, have you ever tried a hand plane on a piece of copper? It actually works for the edges, but now I've got a bit of copper embedded in my number 4 plain sole. I have, and I'm really surprised that you have. But yes, it works very well. I prefer using router bits on the edges of copper to make it the right size. So yeah, very much prefer that. Dusty Dark Horse, has Chris from Clickspring been invited to GGBO? Seeing what his meticulous metalwork could do with a guitar would be fascinating. I'm not even going to bother asking him. He is so intensely busy with everything that he does. It takes so long to do it that if I distracted him with the guitar and it took even longer to put out his next video, then I would feel like I had done the world a disservice. I'm a huge fan of what he does. That being said, yes, it would be incredible, and people have suggested that we do something with him. It would be, yeah, really cool. Scott Davies, at what point do you have to refret a guitar? I had a terrible redress done by a luthier years ago, and he's left some frets flat and others buzz. I think that you need to learn how to level them yourself, but look, for example, we had a basically brand new Heritage, I don't know what they call it, but it's their 335 model, so made in Kalamazoo. Is it Kalamazoo? Anyway, made in the Heritage factory. And the professional guitarist who owns this guitar brought it to us straight away because the frets that came on the guitar are not the height that he prefers. Period. Brand new frets, refretted. And it's now got the fret size that he wants, and it's perfect for him. So chances are your guitar could be done properly with a proper level crown and polish, and you would absolutely love it. But in my book, 9 times out of 10, you could go either way. The real point at which to replace the frets is when you can't actually get enough of a curve in the fret to properly intonate the string in the center of the fret. So they're just too flat. And that's, well, it depends on where the fret started, basically. I suspect that you'll be able to do it yourself, though. Get an essential fret leveling and dressing toolkit. That's all the tools that you need to do it. And yeah, you are going to do better than this luthier. Hell, do one better, get some malicious compliance going, and start a competing business to him and put him out of business. There we go. Chip Prue, are we ever going to get another one-day live build? In quotation marks. No! No. I'm probably going to do some live filming at some point, but at the moment, no. Dunsis Guitar World, hi from Edinburgh, folks. I just wanted to say that I've had a loan of one of the Raw series guitars for a few months. Cool. I'm blown away by how good the humbuckers are in it. Do you sell those separately? Yes, we do. Classic Hookers. They were designed by Sam Hook, and I thought Classic Hookers was a funny name. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, I'm glad you like the guitar. There are going to be some Crimson guitars actually up on the Great Guitar giveaway at some point. People have been asking. Okay. Alrighty. Once upon a time. Okay, Creeverai, any tips to get the action lower? I think the fretwork I've done was all right. Use a fret rocket to double check. But I cannot get the action below 2.25 millimeters on the low B and 1.75 on the high E at the 12th fret. Nut height. Check your nut height. If your nut slots are cut too high, then essentially it causes buzzing in weird ways. It just changes the whole geometry. Tahoe Mike really misses the live builds. I really enjoyed them, but I also ended each day thinking I was about to have a heart attack from the sheer amount of stress and work that went into them, and talking to people and doing everything all at once. It was so stressful. But yes. Barry Christian, if you're making another watch build with acrylic, consider flame or vapor finishing the edges after sanding out. Any machine marks will look crystal clear. I will be spending a lot more time on the finishing on the next one. Although, really, I'd kind of like to do it in glass rather than acrylic. So we'll see. Dum, 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 dum. Driftwood does a dovetail on their tailing, uses a biscuit and other things. I do think it's overkill, but also, hey, if people are going to pay a little bit more for overkill, then go for it. Okay, I need questions, people. Give me questions or give me warmth. Goth Rider Creations, am I the only person who thought sandpaper guitar? Damn, that's going to be fun to play. I certainly did. Hi Ben, since we're getting quite close to Christmas now, I was wondering how useful wood from the holly tree is in guitar building. I've never tried. If you can get it big enough, basically you can make a guitar out of pretty much anything, as I think I've proven. So yeah. Now, okay, Ben, if you do the silicon carbide trick again, a lot of people use epoxy and carbide on pistol grips for grip in wet conditions. The epoxy will coat and bond with the powder. I knew that I should have used epoxy. Thank you for the trick. I will do that next time. Ah, HB, Harley Benton, Mark Leveson for the win, I suspect. Yes. Okay, yes. Everybody, Harley Benton, Apesong Fluid Focus. I'm not surprised. They are super, super, super budget. And yeah, it's like those cheap planes that aren't actually functional as planes and without a lot of work. So it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. No, Lisa, I haven't yet been... I'm genuinely thinking about going private with regards to the ADHD medicine. Okay. They said 6 months and that was 5.5 months ago, so I should be getting some soon. Any chance to fix a wonky neck pocket with hand tools? The neck fits somehow, but there's an angle in the wrong direction, perpendicular to the fretboard. Does it make sense? Cheap kit guitar. Of course it's a cheap kit guitar. Yes, of course you can fix it with hand tools. I love using chisels and things in that situation. It's probably cleaner and easier to use a router, to be honest, but yes. Goth Rider Creations, Bun, where are all the invitational builders profiles on the website? Most seem to be missing. So the problem is, let me just photograph that. The problem is that much like me, everybody left it to the last minute, and we can't really do the profiles until we've got the stuff, and it's just been an absolute nightmare. So we'll be adding more stuff, more profiles and all of that this week. It ended up being 3 people working on Saturday, yesterday, just to get the listings live because we hadn't had the photos on time. So yeah, chaos and carnage, but there will be more coming. Definitely more coming. Now, all right, we've been going for actually fairly short time, but I am running out of questions, and I'm very, very cold. Ben, giveaway website question. Is there a way to pull up just the invitational builds or pro builds by themselves? Yes, there is. Also, why is Brad Angove's guitar at the end like it is in a timeout? Is it? He was probably one of the first ones. Great guitar giveaway. Okay, here we go. So yes, essentially if you hover over the GGBO 2022 menu link at the top of the website, it gives you the option to click on the professional category or the invitational category, and well, Brad's guitar is still down there. So Yuri Tuchman, I love his guitar. Oh my God, there's some cool things going on here. Okay. Oh, and there's mine. Ha. Okay, I haven't even seen some of those. They went up onto the website after I went to bed last night. So there we go. Now, Graham B. Ben, I'm having trouble registering for the Great Guitar giveaway. I have sent an email to administration, but no reply so far. Graham, could you send me an email to stream@crimsonguitars.com as well, please? We have had an issue with the email server not being up to snuff. I don't understand. I thought that was just, well, I don't understand, but I have delegated all this because I don't have the time, and Yeah, but I'd like to double check that for you. So essentially what was happening was people were sending password resets, etc., and the email, we'd hit our limit of emails we were allowed to send out, the system had hit its limit of emails, etc., and then 3 days later you get the reset and it's in your junk, and by that point you stop looking for it. But we will, yeah, I think I can probably actually go in and create you a profile and then email it to you or something. We'll see. Okay. Vulcan Essence with another super chat. Thanks very much, V. Says, hi Ben, in your GGBO you used veneer to strengthen the body ring. How come this helped stability? So essentially a lot of the grain on the body was vertical and very short at the thin sections, and I put veneer which had long grain going all the way around, thus essentially creating long grain where it was short and short grain where it was long, and it just made the whole thing like a plywood sandwich, which was far better. And if I'd put veneer on the outside as well, which I really should have, it would have been nigh on indestructible. So yeah, it's just that's why plywood works. Whew. Dusty Dark Horse, any unexpected acrylic tricks? I've got a few projects coming up and I'm not entirely familiar with the material. Heat, fire to finish it works very well. Chloroform is very good for... Chloroform is not very good for your anesthetic needs, amateur anesthetic needs. It takes far too long to actually knock people out. I'm not talking from experience, but chloroform actually does work as acrylic glue, which is interesting. What doesn't work, however, is walking into your local pharmacy and saying, hey, I need to buy some chloroform, when one has head tattoos and goes in and asks that question. People tend to sort of exit stage left and phone police. Ask me how I know. I actually managed to talk myself out of that one quite well. But yeah, you can get chloroform, you can get acrylic glues that work very well. So there we go. Bubbly Juice, hey Ben, I'm pleased to report that the 40 quid baby blue Strat I bought into Crimson Guitars HQ, CGHQ. I'm so sorry, GCHQ is that was typical. So off stage right, my batteries finally charged from the last time I ran out of batteries, and the second that I took those out of the charger, the battery here went. This is how little I've been in the workshop. I've been charging those batteries for the last 3 live streams. Anyhow, Big Unit, thank you for letting me know. Okay. Alrighty. How long was I down? No. This is what happens when you're playing in the chat and you don't see what's right down at the end. Okay. So I was talking about the student who managed to take a budget guitar and that he brought as an experiment to the school because he didn't want to work on his slightly better instruments, and the budget guitar has actually turned into a really nice instrument now, so that's great. Bulgarian evolution, haha, someone made more than a few watch lists, that's exactly right. Okay, still got Ben, giveaway question. Why are you getting mainly Gibsons and Fenders and ignoring other major brands like Schecter, ESP Limited, Ibanez, Dean, etc.? It's purely, there's a lot. There is a lot coming. Excuse me. Okay, there are a lot of random and interesting things coming, but for example, I've got an Ibanez Gem, which needed, I mean, that needed a refret. The frets were almost flat. That's literally in progress right now. We've got, I mean, there's that Vox bass. There's going to be all sorts of things. It's called Great Guitar Giveaway, not because it's a great giveaway, but because it's great guitars. We want to have and look at and experiment with everything. So there will be a lot more variety coming soon. Goth Rider Creations, Bun, is the back of an Acoustasonic the same thickness? Excuse me, the same thickness as the top. I can't find many details, and you're the only person I know to take one apart. I know the back is a little bit thicker. I think it's about 8mm or so, maybe a little bit more than that even. I didn't actually, I think it's about 8mm. Dum to dum to dum. Redhead17, one questions. Looking at your watch guitar, if there were problems with shielding, could a metal shielded box on the rear of each pickup made to look nice? Okay, essentially the pickups themselves are already shielded. The copper and the back of the plate, etc., that's all already there. The issue is the wires. So in reality, if there was a problem with an acrylic guitar like that, I would actually just use shielded wires from across the board. Every single wire would be shielded and it would be fine, in my opinion. Jason O'Connor, can you put melamine lacquer over guitar finishing oil? I've never tried. It would have to be very dry and slightly keyed up probably before you could. Run a test. I think you should be able to. Graham B. Ben, why are there no Crimson guitars in the Great Guitar Giveaway? Simply haven't got to them yet. There will be a few. In fact, there's going to be one next week at the very least. So there we go. Robert R. Even the guitar that Jimmy DeResta did was cool. I mean, Jimmy is a very cool dude and has made some incredibly cool guitars in the past. This time he just had more time. I've not seen the video yet, but I did see the thumbnail and it looks pretty good. He's supremely talented. Last year was sad, actually. He had a lot going on. Ben, are you going to have a Crimson Christmas party? For staff, yes. Ish. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. I've come through to a bunch of questions there. I still got Ben. Yeah, that's what I meant. Other brands also has very good guitars. Some might even be way better than Gibson and Fender, and there's a lot to learn from them. Absolutely. It's just, yeah, there is going to be a lot. There really is. And a lot of vintage and weird and wonderful things as well. E.R. Webster, hey Ben, did you see Rob Scallon touring the Schecter factory while making a guitar? I never actually clicked on that video. Really entertaining actually, and they have a couple of processes I'm stealing, lol. Okay, I'll check that out, genuinely. I've seen the video and I get I spend so much time making videos, thinking about videos about guitar building, etc., that in the end, when it's a guitar building video, unless I've got a very good reason, I just don't bother. I'm guitared out. I want to watch somebody making something, anything else. But there we go. Hand tool builds. Have you ever built a steam box? Any tips? I have, and I just used good quality plywood with yacht varnish on the inside, and I'm not even sure if the yacht varnish was required. I've also done it in PVC piping as well, so there we go. Mike is not down again. I'm just checking. Anonymous Botch, how about some crimson courses in the Great Guitar Giveaway? That is also something that we have considered and will do. Yeah. Anonymous Botch mentions GCHQ and sound immediately goes off. I like it. Okay. Graham B, thanks Ben, I will do. I've registered just my details for shipping and the billing won't recognize the postcode. I've heard of that before. There is something weird there. Okay. Look everybody, I'm going to, if you have any more questions, now is your time, because we are, yeah, I'm going to call it a night pretty much. Mr. Waffle says the lawyers will let you give away courses. Absolutely, yeah, pretty much. Okay, Goth Rider's off to bed. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. The gem's coming. Single coils are not the same. Single coils are made with non-conductive material, so they don't have conductive base plates, which is a big thing. So I think that single coils should be shielded as much as possible. Dusty Dark Horse says, may I suggest unnecessary inventions as a builder's palette cleanser? Oh, I know the guy. I see the short videos. Does he actually do videos on how to make this, or how he's made this stuff? It's all good. Okay. How do you stabilize a Buckeye Bill top on a guitar with a reduced top, before or after you glue it to the body? Before. If you're doing it afterwards, then you need to use thin super glue pretty much, or very thin epoxy, but it won't go very deep. If you do it before, you can put it in a vacuum box and pull cactus juice through it and then cook it and all that jazz. That's the way it should be done. Question, how would anybody apply for help from GGBO? Email office@greatguitarbuildoff.com, and we are now at the point where once these competitions are finished and we've finished the year, we are hoping to actually have some money spare to do more than just the giveaways that we've already done at this point. So throughout the year, GGBO has been giving deserving people tools and bits and pieces like that, but we're hoping, well, we're going to be able to see what the accounts are like after the invitationals and professionals are finished. So there we go. Ben, have you ever heard of a Goya Rangemaster? It was made in Italy in the 1960s. I picked up a 1967 Rangemaster from a friend, but it is in parts and missing parts. But the pickup and switching look, and I'm assuming cool. I have heard of them. Very, very cool company and very cool guitars. Fluid Focus, what gem? And are you just doing a refret? I can't remember exactly. It's got a number. But yes, we're doing a full refret on it. In fact, it's partially finished. You should get that video soon. Okay, look everybody, I am going to call it a night. I just wanted to say thank you very much for your support. Thank you for being so flippin' cool. Yeah, have a fantastic week. I will be back on Wednesday evening with a live stream to give away some guitars for Great Guitar Giveaway. And yeah, failing that, I'll be back next Sunday, but I will not be here on Christmas Day or New Year's Day. I'll see about rescheduling Q&As midweek during those weeks, potentially. we'll go from that. Anyway, thank you for everything. I love you guys. Have a good week. Goodbye.